Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we will be making this little Valentine's devil. He is no-sew from his head, arms, body, and legs, and then we will have to embroider his face, add his horns, his ears, his little tail, and then the hearts if you want to turn him into a Valentine's Day project, or you can leave the hearts off and just have him like he is. This is a request from one of my regular viewers, and her name is Jennifer Foster, and I would like to thank her for suggesting this because I don't think I would have made it otherwise. And I think it fits perfectly in my channel between the kind of cute and kind of unique things that I make, and you guys seem to enjoy. It's not exactly what I envisioned when I first seen the comment. I thought about doing little heart eyes and a few different things, but I changed it along the way as I was going. But I hope you are happy with the end result. So this is a crochet along, and I will be doing every stitch with you. We will be starting with the arms and the legs, and then we'll move on to the body, and I'll be throwing in an old piece of tutorial that's in brown. So when you get to the head, don't worry that I've changed color. You keep going in whatever colors you've chosen. There will be a couple parts that I do off camera, which will be the repeat rows in the head, the repeat rows on the body, and then some of the repeat rows on the tail. But I will be with you when we add the arms and the legs and then everything else. And if you happen to get lost or confused or not sure what I'm doing, there will be a drop-down menu at the beginning of every row that you can always refer to. And don't forget, if you like my videos, hit the subscribe button and you will be notified every time I load a new video. I think that's everything, so grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we are going to start with the arms, and we're just going to make a knot with the loop on the end. So you'll fold your string over, wrap it around your finger and down and through, and just grab that little loop and tighten your knot so you have a small little loop on the end. And you can start this any way you're comfortable with your magic ring or your chain 2, as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. So if you're starting this way, you're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull up and through, and chain 1. And that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches your yarn to this loop. And for round 1, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one And I just use a scrap of yarn. And for round 2, we are going to do 6 increases. So that will be 2 single crochets in each stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So starting in that first stitch, you're going to increase 1 and 2, increase again, 3 and 4, increase, 5 and 6, increase, 7 and 8, increase, 9 and 10, and your last increase, 11 and 12. For rounds 3 and 4, we're just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around, and I am going to do count consecutively and do 2 rows of 12 for a total of 24, and then just flip my marker every time I hit 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that was our first row, and now for our second row, I'm going to keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Row 5, we're going to put a little tiny thumb on his arm. So if you find that that's too tricky for you, or you don't want the thumb, you're just going to put a single crochet instead of this little puff stitch. Okay, so to begin row 5, in the next stitch, you're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, bring it up and through, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook, and now you're just going to repeat that 4 times. So 1, 2, whoopsie, stitch marker, 3, and if you can, 4. And then you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to pull that through all those loops on the hook. If you happen to lose your yarn, I would just pull it out and start again instead of trying to find it and pull it through. So grab that, tighten it, and then you're going to put your next single crochet right beside it in the next stitch. You may have to push that thumb out a bit before you finish your single crochet, and then tighten that if you need to. So you have 2 stitches in that row, and we need 12s, so we'll be doing 10 more single crochets. So puff stitch is 1, our single crochet is 2, and then we'll just keep on going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And your next stitch will be going in right here under where just in front of where that thumb is. For row 6, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and repeat that all the way around for a total of 8. So 1 and a decrease. Make sure you get in the next stitch for 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, and our last decrease for 8. For rows 7 to 15, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. And because I'm not using a row counter, I am going to be doing those 9 rows in sets of 3. So I'll do 3 rows of 24, 3 rows of 24, and 3 rows of 24. And then I will be flipping my stitch marker every time I go through a set of 8 for those 9 rows. All right, so we're going to start at 1 for the first 3 rows of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Flip your marker if you're using one and keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, flip your marker, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that was our first 3 rows of 9, and I'm going to start at 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, flipping my marker, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, flipping my marker, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that's 6 rows of 9, and I'm going to start at 1 again and do my last 3 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, flip my marker, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, flipping my marker. That should be our last row. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Now you're just going to grab a little bit of stuffing. And you're going to insert it down into the bottom of the hand. For me, I like to have just the hand stuffed, depending on what I'm doing, but for most of the ones I'm making lately. And then the arm is kind of not stuffed, and then it doesn't stick out straight out from the body. It kind of will hang down a little bit better. So depending on how you want your arm to look, so however much stuffing you want in there. And then you are just going to do 3 single crochets across the top, going through both sides of the arm. So you're going to start in the next stitch, and then you're going to go over to the last stitch, making sure you are through both sides of the loop on the front and the back. Then just grab your yarn, give it a tug if you need to, and then finish off your first single crochet. And then you're just going to do that in this next one. So that's 2, and then in the last one, and that's 3. Also give that a little pull, and then you're just gonna tie it off. Cut yourself a little bit of a tail for the arms. We're not sewing them on, but I do have a little trick at the end to kind of help secure the arms using this little bit of tail. So you're going to need 2 arms. So if you've just done the first one, I will put a little screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp to take you back over to the beginning to do this arm. And then if you are done your second arm, just keep on watching, go past that screenshot, and then we'll start on the next part. Okay, now we're going to do the foot, and because my foot is going to be black and it's going to be very hard to see, I'm going to show you in purple, and then I'll change the color back to the red. So you're going to start just like you did the arm. Make your knot with the loop on the end, or however you're comfortable starting. And if you're doing it my way, you will be going through the loop, grabbing your yarn, bringing it up and through, and making your one chain, remembering that's just to secure your yarn to the loop, and it does not count as a stitch. And for row 1, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And just a reminder, just because mine's in black, you can make yours in any color you want. Just remember to kind of keep the accent color, and the main color, the main color. And actually, I guess that doesn't even matter. All right, grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for round 2, you are going to do 6 increases. So again, that's just 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and your last increase 11 and 12. For row 3, you're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1 increase, 2 and 3, 4 increase, 5 and 6, 7 increase, 8 and 9, 10 increase, 11 and 12, 13 and increase, 14 and 15, 16 and increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets and 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our increase, 23, 24. Next row, we're going to be going in the back loops. So you would normally go down through here under both sides of the V in your stitch. But this time we are going to be going down and out the back loop. So we're going to go over this stitch and down and out. So for row 5, in the back loops, 24 single crochets all the way around. Make sure you're in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll know you're doing it the right way if you all of a sudden start seeing a little line showing up, and that will help make your hoof kind of curve so he has a flat bottom. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now we're going to go back into the regular way, going under both the loops in the V. And for row 6, we're just going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, or 21, 22, 23, and 24. Row 7, we're going to do 2 single crochets and 1 decrease, and repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and decrease, 3, 4, 5, and decrease, 6, 7, 8, and decrease is 9, 10, 11, decrease is 12, 13, 14, and decrease is 15, 16, whoops, 17, and decrease for 18. Row 8, you're just going to do 18 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. For row 9, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. But when we're on our last stitch, we're not quite going to finish it so that we can attach our next color. So 1, decrease is 2, 3, decrease is 4, 5, decrease is 6, 7, decrease is 8, 9, decrease is 10, 11, and then start your last decrease. So you go in and grab, leave those 3 loops on the hook, and don't pull this through because now we're going to tie this to our main color. So for me it's the red, and I'm pretending this is black. So you're just going to grab your accent color string and your new main color string, and you're just going to tie them in a couple of knots as if you were beginning to tie your laces on a shoe. So I'm going to do that about 3 times, maybe 4, and then you can cut your old color. And then you're just going to pick that up and pull that red now through that 12th stitch of the previous row. Okay, find my stitch marker there. For rows 10 to 14. It's just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around. And again, because I don't have a stitch marker, I'm going to do this one all 5 rows. I'm just going to multiply by 12. So 5 times 12 is 60. So I'm going to do 60 stitches all the way around and flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Flip my marker. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, put my marker, 25, oops, I think I split a stitch there, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flip my marker, 37, 38, 39, sorry, I keep hitting my tripod, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flip my marker, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Now we'll grab some stuffing. I'm actually surprised that this purple and red actually kind of doesn't look too bad together, which I would have never picked for a color combo for, I don't know, if anything. So you want to get a fairly big chunk down into the foot. kind of pushing it out into the corners, but trying to keep the bottom on the flatter side, making sure you're not stuffing it so much that the stitches are splitting and you can see your stuffing. So see, you can't see any stuffing at the moment. Just kind of shape it how you want it. If you're happy with that, then you're just going to put a tiny little bit in the top of the leg. That might even be too much. Just enough that it holds a bit of its shape, but when you attach it onto the front of his body, that's not going to make him tip backwards. It'll let him sit flat. So I actually might have a little bit too much in there. I want this to be fairly flat. Okay, once you're stuffed and happy with how it looks, you are going to fold it, and same as with the arm, going through both the front and the back under both of the loops. You're gonna need 6 single crochets across, and 5 will fit nicely. So somewhere right in the middle, we're gonna do an increase, so we have 6. So in the next stitch, and then as far back as you can go into the next stitch. So that's 1, and then 2. And I'm going to increase now. So 3 and 4. And then in the next stitch, 5. And in that last little piece right here will be 6. And then just tie that off. I leave a little bit of a tail, but so far I've just been throwing them in and tying them in the back. I haven't found much use for the bottom string yet. Okay. So you're going to need 2 of these. So again, I will put a little screenshot with a timestamp in the next frame so you can go back and redo the second leg. And if you're on the second leg and ready to continue, just keep on watching and we will move on to the next part. To begin, we are just going to make a loop as if we were going to start a chain. So just wrap it around your finger, down and through. We're going to be putting 6 single crochets in there. So make it about just a little bigger than your hook. And we're going to put our hook in the loop, grab the yarn, pull through, and just do 1 chain to secure our yarn to our loop. And that does not count as a stitch. So for round 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Grab your stitch marker if you're using one, and I'm just using a piece of thread. And for round 2, we're going to do 6 increases, so that'll be 2 stitches in every stitch around. So first increase, 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11, and 12. Flip your stitch marker, and for round 3 we are going to be doing 1 single crochet and 1 increase for a total of 18, and we'll repeat that all the way around. So 1 increase, 2 and 3, and then repeat that sequence, 4, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. For row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, and our increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase for 11 and 12, whoops, 13, 14, and our increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase all the way around, and repeat that for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5. Repeat that over. 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15. 16, 17, 18, and an increase for 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, increase 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and increase for 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and an increase 35 and 36. Whoops. For round 7, we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our increase 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, increase 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, increase 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, increase 27 and 28, 29, whoops, 30, 31, 32, 33, and our increase 34 and 35. This should be our last set. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and our increase 41 and 42. For rows 8 to 14, we are just going to do 42 single crochets all the way around, and that'll be 7 rows. I'll do the first row with you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, my yarn is catching here, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. Okay, so that would have been row 8. So you're just going to keep continuing on, row 9 to 14. So that'll be 6 more rows. And I will come back and catch you up when we're ready to start row 15. Okay, you should be ready to start row 15, which is going to be 5 single crochets and 1 decrease, and you'll repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll do a decrease for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, decrease 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, decrease 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, whoops, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36 is a decrease. Row 16 is going to be 4 single crochets, 1 decrease all the way around for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is a decrease. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is a decrease. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is a decrease. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is a decrease. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 is a decrease. 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 is a decrease. Row 17 is going to be 3 single crochets and 1 decrease all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 is a decrease. 5, 6, 7, 8 is a decrease. Oops. 9, 10, 11, 12 is a decrease. 13, 14, 15, and 16 is a decrease. 17, 18, 19, 20 is a decrease. 21, 22, 23, and 24 is a decrease. Row 18 is going to be 2 single crochets and 1 decrease for a total of 18. 1, 2, 3 is a decrease. 4, 5, 6 is a decrease. 7, 8, 9 is a decrease. 10, 11, and 12 is a decrease. 13, 14, 15 is a decrease. 16, 17, and and 18 is a decrease. Okay, I'm going to join you back now, and you should have just finished row 18 of the head, and you should have both of your arms finished. And for row 19, we're going to add the arms. And I'm going to try and do something a little different for this row. Because I can only put a maximum of 30 seconds across the top of the pattern. So I'm going to try and stretch it out so that whatever part we're doing is the part that's showing up and not the whole row. And if you like that better, let me know, and I will try and do that more often in my videos that are coming in the future. Okay, so for row 19, we are going to start with 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to grab one of your arms with the strings and hopefully the thumbs, most importantly the thumbs, facing the front. You're going to insert your hook into the back stitch of the arm. And then you're going to insert it into the next stitch of the body, going through both sides of the V's. And you're going to do 3 single crochets like that. So 1 into the next stitch and the next stitch of the body, 2, and then the next stitch of the arm and the next stitch of the body, and that is 3. Now you're going to do 6 single crochets across, starting in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And grab your other arm, and we're going to do the exact same thing, making sure that our string and our thumb are pointing towards the front. If for some reason your strings and thumbs aren't on the same side, make sure your thumb is pointing the front. And then you're just going to go in the next stitch. So that's 1. Repeat that again. 2. And one more time. 3. And you should have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to do 3 single crochets to finish off that round. Now I'm going to pop back in the brown video, and I will meet you back when it's time to put on the legs. For round 20, we're going to do 2 single crochets and 1 increase for a total of 24. So 1, 2, and an increase. 3 and 4, 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and an increase for 15 and 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. For rows 21 to 23, we're going to just do 24 single crochets all the way around. So that'll be 3 rows of 24. One, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whoops, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, and I'm just going to keep counting around till I have 24 times 3, so 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, so that's 2 rows, we got 1 more row, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. And there's our 3 rows of 24. Row 24 is going to be 3 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat that all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and increase 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase for 19 and 20, 21, 22, big naughty mess here, 23, an increase 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our increase 29 and 30. Okay, rows 25 to 30 is just 30 single crochets all the way around, so that's 6 rows, and I am going to let you guys do that on your own, and I will come back for row 31. Okay, you should be done your 6 rows of 30 single crochet and ready to start row 31. And so for row 31, we're going to do 3 single crochets and 1 decrease for a total of 24. So 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, oops, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. Okay, you should be done up to row 31, and you'll have the head, the arms, and the body done. Before we go any further, let's put the eyes in. So I am just going to put a little bit of stuffing in the head. And I stuff it first because I like to see what it's going to look like, and I don't want to end up putting my eyes in and then getting all done, stuffing it, and then realize that I really should have put my eyes somewhere else, or lower, or higher, or further apart. Okay, that should be enough for now. And then I'm going to find the center of my my guy's face. So I like to use where I tied off the arms and the 6 stitches that we went across between the arms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here is the center of my arms. And I want to come down between rows 10 and 11. So starting with the row where we made our first loop is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right there in between rows 10 and 11. And then we're just going to try and make sure we have that in the center. And I like to put mine in a stitch instead of a hole. And then I count the holes over from both eyes. So I think that will be good. So I'm using 14mm eyes. It's a little bigger than what I would usually use on this side. But for some reason I thought they looked all right. So from your center pin, you're going to go over to the 4th hole and stick in your eye. So 1, 2, 3, and there's your 4th hole. So stick one eye in there. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stick your other eye on that side. And then just kind of have a look if they feel like they're in the right spot. We are going to bring them in a little bit, so don't worry if they're too far apart. Just make sure they're kind of even with your arms. I think that's going to be okay. So now we will have to take some of that stuffing out so we can put the backs on. You just grab your back and you're going to click that on. And then grab your other back and put it on the other side. Listen for the clicks. There we go. Just going to double check that one went twice. Yep, or did it go once or twice? Okay. And now we'll just put our stuffing back in his head. And this time I'm going to stuff it a little firmer than I did when I had the eyes in. If you're going for a firmer head, make sure that you're not putting a lot of pressure on these stitches where you did all your decreases, because it will spread those stitches open and you'll see your stuffing underneath. I think this will be the last batch. Just kind of make sure your head's getting the round shape there. I'm going to put a tiny little bit in the body. Your guy should look about like this. So now you're going to grab your legs. And what you want to do is find your halfway on each side. So you want 12 stitches in the front and 12 stitches in the back, but don't worry about counting them. We're just going to line them up with our arms like we did the eyes and just kind of fold it flat. What we want to do is find our stitches on each side. And you can just count them if you need to. You want 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I have 12 in the front, fairly even. So your first leg is going to start in this 12th stitch right here. And then you're going to go 6 stitches over in the one leg. And then you're going to do 6 stitches over in the other leg, and then just continue around till you get back to your stitch marker. So let's mark that little piece. So you know when you get there, you're going to start your leg. I just use a scrap piece of yarn. Okay, so this will be row 32, and I'm going to count over to where we start our first leg, but don't worry if your stitches are a little different, because you may not be in this exact space that I am. So if you're not and you get here and you're at a different stitch, that's okay. As long as you got your 12 stitches in the front that work up evenly for yourself. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for me, and I'm at my marker right now. So you're going to grab your leg, and the bottom of the leg is what you want facing you. So I'm going to be having the steps of the color change on the bottom so that you don't see it. So I'll be putting mine this way with the strings facing to the left. So when he's up like this, you cannot see that part. I might have to move this a bit around. Okay. So we're going to do just like the arms. We're going to do 6 single crochets. Each one will go into the leg and then into the body. So just like that. So that will be your first single crochet. I don't know how to make this easier to see. So then we'll do our second in through the leg and then in through the body. And then And just keep going around till you get all 6. So that was 2. 3. 4. 5. And our last one. 6. I'm just going to let my tail of my leg go in right now, and hopefully it stays out of my way. So then you're going to grab your second leg. Same thing, you want the steps of the leg facing you where you did your color change, so you won't see it on the bottom. And then you're going to grab the first stitch of the leg, and then the next stitch, excuse me, of the body. Just make sure you're going in the right stitch and not your same stitch you were just in. Oh my goodness, my voice is going. Excuse me. And you're going to do 6 across, just like you did the last leg. Oh my god, what a mess. I'm sorry, this is so awkward. Hopefully you're doing a little better than me, because I can't really see because my arms are almost bent straight out trying to get this in the camera shot. So it's hard to even just twist my wrist and still be able to reach. So that was 3. 4. 'Oops, I didn't go through the body that time. I definitely got to find a different way to do this. 5. And then my last one, 6. Oh boy. All right. I don't know, I made that look so hard, but it isn't that hard. But if you struggled with it like I did, just take your time. It's not a race. You want to enjoy it, not make it a job. So it should look like this. So it did pay off going nice and slow because it looks fairly neat. That'll be what they look like folded up. Now since we had 8 on this side and 12 across the front through our legs, we should have 4 left if we counted right, and if you had to do the same amount of stitches as me. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there we go, we got our legs on. Okay, we're going to start closing them up now, and I'm going to add stuffing later on, so it's a little easier to do the next couple rows. For row 33, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and decrease for 9. Oops, I got stuffing there. 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. 13, 14, and a decrease for 15. 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. For row 34, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 decrease for a total of 12. So 1 and a decrease for 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, and our last decrease is 12. Now I'm going to add my last bit of stuffing, and as you do that, keep in mind that you want his bottom maybe a bit on the flat side, so he'll sit, or at least the rounder, fuller part at the back of his bum, so that he doesn't fall over when you try and make him sit. Just kind of test him out, and I think that's okay, so I'm going to close that up now. So now we're just going to do 6 decreases all the way around, and that is row 35. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, and 6 decreases. And then you're just going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch, and then we're going to tie that off, and we will leave a little bit of a tail So we can close that up. And I think I'm going to get rid of my stitch marker as well. So grab your darning needle. And you're just going to weave your needle in and out through the stitches, going around. I see I have a lot of stuffing debris I need to remove, but I'm not going to worry about that till I'm done. And then you're just going to pull it tight. Find a little spot to make a knot. And then tie that up. And you can just go down right close to where you tied it and bring it out and up somewhere. Give it a cut. And then you're going to take your arm threads and you're just going to put them in right where your last stitch was, where you attach them, and come out the back in the center around the neck somewhere. Do that with your other one. Whatever stitch was the last stitch when you attached your arm, and then come back out. Now, of course, you don't have to do it this way, but I like the end result. So you're going to give them one tie. And then lift him up and give him a pull, and it's going to bring his arms in. One is doing better than the other. And it kind of hides that knot, and it makes these arms a little less wobbly around his neck. So once you're happy with how far you've brought them in, you're just going to give it a couple more ties to secure that. And then also you're going to thread them in and out his body somewhere. All right, let's make his horn. And I'm going to be using purple again. So we're just going to make our knot with the loop on the end. Or however you feel comfortable starting. Grab your yarn, pull it through, and chain one. And for row 1, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for round 2, we are just going to do 6 single crochets all the way around. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For round 3, you're going to be doing 2 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 8. So 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4. 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8. Round 4, you're just going to be doing 8 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Row 5, you're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 10. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. And row 6, you are just going to do 10 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and tie that off, leaving a bit of a tail for sewing that on. And you're going to be making 2 of these. So again, I will put a screenshot in the next frame so you can go back to the timestamp to start this over again. And then if you've already done your second one, just keep on watching and we will go to the next part. Okay, for the ears, I made 2 different types of ears. So the first ear I made looks like this, and I thought they would look good kind of pinned on the side. After I got them made and all the pinning and stuff, I didn't really see devil anymore. I started seeing something totally different. So I think, well, I know, for this guy, I'm going to be making these little ears. But when I'm done doing the ear, I will put a screenshot of the pattern for these ones if you want to try them out. I just couldn't get it. My sewing, of course, would have made a difference, but I didn't even know which way I wanted to sew them on. So, although now that I look at it, I'm thinking I could have done something different. But these will come in handy in a different pattern, I think. So for now, we will do this little ear, and it's pretty simple. So you're just going to make your knot with the loop on the end. Grab your yarn and make your chain 1 to attach it to the loop. And then we are just going to be doing 1 round about halfway, so that's kind of open on the one side. So 1 single crochet. Then we're going to do 3 half double crochets. So wrap your yarn around, go in your loop, grab your yarn again. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Grab your yarn and pull through all 3 loops. And then you're going to do that 2 more times. 1 and 2. So you now have 3 half double crochets, and then you're going to do 2 double crochets. So wrap your yarn over your hook, go in your loop, grab your yarn, pull up and through, grab your yarn, and this time you're going to go through just the first 2 loops. Grab your yarn again and go through the last 2 loops. And you're going to do that 1 more time. So now you have 2 double crochets, and now you're going to chain 2, and you're going to slip stitch down back in your loop and tie that off. Leaving a bit of a tail. I don't know if we're going to sew this in or we're just going to thread them both through and tie them in the back. I haven't decided that part yet. And if you need to go back to do the second ear, I will put a timestamp on that frame in the pattern for the other ear. So somewhere on there, I'll just put the timestamp. Now, if you're going to be putting hearts on his feet and body, you're going to need a black one, assuming you're using the color that I am. You're going to need 1 heart for over here on his chest. And then you're going to need 2 hearts to go on his feet in the red or main color or whatever color you're choosing. So I will show you how to do the heart, and then you can decide how many you need. This heart is just a black heart, and then I've embroidered the little heart on. Okay, so you're going to be putting 14 stitches into your heart. So I still try and make my loop small, but it is tricky to get the last couple in. I have no idea what it looks like if you try it with a magic ring, because it's all in the one row. Okay, so I'm going to make my loop kind of the same size I have been, maybe a touch bigger. Make sure if you do it my way, you go over the tail so you can try and bring some of that tighter. So grab your yarn and you're going to chain one, and this time this chain is going to count as the first chain in your heart. And you're going to do 3 half double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to do 1 half double crochet. And we're doing the point of the heart right now. And then you're just going to reverse that, exactly what you did. So you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and then slip stitch down into your loop and tie that off, leaving yourself a fair amount of tail to sew that on. And if you can, pull your other tail now and try and close up that little hole. So make however many hearts you need to make now. And we will move on to the next part. Okay, so this is the tail. I'm not going to do the whole tail with you because we'll spend forever just doing all these rows. So I'm going to do the little point here and then the first row or 2 here, and then I'm going to let you decide how long you want to make your tail, and if you want to put a wire in it or not. I think I'm going to be putting some coated garden wire in there. Jewelry wire would work. A pipe cleaner might work, but it might not be stiff enough. Okay, so make your loop, and we are going to only be doing 4 single crochets to begin with. which I know is tricky. I really don't like doing less than 6, but if you want that point, you're going to have to try and get the 4 single crochets. If you can't, just do 6 in the first row and then continue on to row 2. So grab your yarn, pull up and through and chain 1, and now we are going to do 4 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 increase, and then repeat that for a total of 6. So when you're going in these small little rounds, make sure all your stitches are in the right stitch, because sometimes it pulls over quite a bit and you think you're going in the next stitch, but you're actually going in the same stitch. Okay, so 1, so this is our stitch right here. So it looks like we need to go here, but we actually are going all the way over here for an increase. So 3 and 4. Or 2 and 3, sorry. So we got 1, 2, and 3. Then our next stitch is 4. And our last stitch is an increase for 5 and 6. I'll try and keep the instructions up longer if I can for that part where I just miscounted. Row 3 is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase for a total of 8. So 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8. Row 4 is going to be 3 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 10. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. Row 5 is going to be 4 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat that for a total of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12. Row 6 is just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, row 7 is going to be 6 decreases. So 1, decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, and 6 decreases. But do not finish off that last decrease. Stop when you have your 3 loops. And then you are going to change your color. And I'm just going to use this stitch marker. As my new color. So this will, you'll be attaching your main color to do the rest of the tail. I'm just showing you a sample right now. So I'm going to cut this purple off, which would be your black if you're doing it in the same colors as me. You're going to put a little, or let's finish that off first. Okay. So pull that new color through that last half double crochet. You're going to put a tiny bit of stuffing in there. Just to hold its shape. Remembering if you put wire in later, you're going to want to have a little bit of wiggle room in there to get that wire in there. And now you're just going to do 6 single crochets all the way around till you get to the length you want, or you don't even have to count. The first row is going to be 6 single crochets. And if you can just keep going until it's the length you want, around and around and around. I counted how many rows I had, and I ended up, there's 26 rows of 6. I guess I can't get all the way around. I had a measure, and it's 5.5 inches from the red to the red. Or how I did it was I just kept going till it was about the height of his head. So I could have actually gone a couple more. So you just play with it and see how long you want it. If you want to put a couple little bends in it, you're going to want it longer. If you just want there to be a little piece hanging off, you can just do it shorter. So shorter or longer, up to you. Okay, I'm going to let you guys finish crocheting that tail. And then I'll come and join you at the next part. All right, to finish off the tail, if you want to put a little bit of wire in it, I am just using this little garden wire. It's just from the dollar store. And I'm going to leave the coating on because you're not going to see it anyway. So I'm just going to make a little bend. And I'm going to give it a twist. And I want to put that up inside the tail if I can. Or the tip of the tail. And then I'm just going to make it about the length of my tail. I haven't decided how it stays up yet. I might just tack a string up along the body. And then we're just going to thread that in. You want to make sure that this end is not going to be poking anywhere. And that is also why we bent this, but I think I got to make it more of a point here to get it in. If you have the skill for it, and you can put the curved end in the tip when you make it, and then go around your wire, that's probably the best way. But with only 6 stitches, I didn't even attempt to try it that way. I'm really close. That's the only bad part about using the coating, is that it kind of sticks to your yarn a bit and grabs at it. Alright, I got it in the tip there, so I'm going to just pull this down if I can. Try not to stretch your stitches out. And there, you can just kind of bend it however you want it. And then you just want to take your end, and you want to close up these last stitches. So you're going to want to put 2 or 3 single crochets in. 2 will fit nicely. 3 might make it a little more secure. So I'm just going to put 2 in. Whoops, that wire's right in my way here. Two. And redo that so it's a little tighter. And I've already cut my yarn, so I have that little tail to sew it on. And what I'll probably do is sew it up a bit so that I can tack it here so it'll stay, and I can just do whatever I want with it. So you should have your tail, your 2 horn pieces, and then your 2 ear pieces. Whoops, I just dropped Dobby. His clothes are starting to fall off. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you how I pinned his face in order to do the embroidering. So the yellow pins are his eyebrows. And for his first eyebrow, where my yellow pins are, I went to the center of the eye and then 1 hole up for my first pin, and then 1 row down, and then over 2 holes from his eye. Then you're going to mirror that on the other side, just above his eye, and then just beside his eye. And then for his mouth, if you go in the row across where you attach the eyes, count down 1, 2, 3, and then in the between the 4th and the 5th row, kind of just inside his eyes, that's where the green pins will be his mouth. And then I put a little pin 2 rows down in case I want to curve his mouth down a bit. And then for the little heart cheeks, if you're going to add them, I go 1, 2 holes over from where I'm going to add my mouth, and that's going to be the bottom point of the heart. And then I go diagonally on each side of that pin to put the top of the heart. So I always do this a little different, but this time we are going to start down on the 1 green pin in his mouth. And you're going to go down and around this eye and up to the yellow pin in his eyebrow. And you're going to take about half your thread and leave the other half for the other side. Now you're going to go into your yellow pin on the other side. And if you're going to be doing the hearts, you're going to go down to the bottom pin of your heart. If you're not doing the hearts, you're just going to come out some here, tie it, and put it in the back. Now re-thread on the other side, and I'm only doing it this way because I'm just in case you don't want to put the hearts on. But normally I would do this side as well. So put the other side of your string where that other green pin was for your mouth. And then you're going to just do what you did on the other side. You're going to come up to the top yellow pin. Make sure you get in the right hole there. And then you're going to go down. Oops, I can't grab that. Wrong side. Down the back side where your eyebrow is. And if you're doing the heart, you come down to this bottom pin, and if you're not, come out here where you took this end and tie it off. And to do the heart, you're just going to be going in these top 2 stitches around. So I'm going to do the back one first. And try not to bring the stuffing out if you can help it. Save yourself a bit of a mess from later. And don't pull them too tight because you don't want to lose that shape, but you also don't want to have them so full you can't see the shape. So you're going to go in there 2 times. And then you're going to go in the other side 2 times. You could do these a different color if you want. If you want little pink cheeks, might be cute. Oops. When you come up there, I shouldn't have came up here, so I'm going to have to come back down. And then I'm going to go to my, oh no, I'm done. Huh. I'm going to come out here, right where that little green pin is. Okay, rethread your needle so you can do the other side. And I went to the outside of the heart first, so I'm going to go to the outside pin first this time. Do that twice. And then go to the other side. Oops, I got a little bit of stuffing that time. Now, if you've done that, I would redo it, but because I'm just quickly trying to get this done, I'm going to leave mine. And see, again, I came out. That should have went down here. I thought about, if you want to try it, I thought about putting, actually I might do that. I thought about making this a little beard for him, so if you want a little beard for him, you can do that. What I'm going to do is make him a little smile. So I'm just going to come under his mouth and then just pull it down like that. Then I'm going to give it a tie. Excuse me. And when you're tying this, be careful not to tie it so tight that you're pulling the sides of your heart. So you want to pull your mouth down, but you don't want to pull your hearts. So it'll look like that. And then you're just going to thread that out and through somewhere. Excuse me. Now you want to pull the knot through, but you don't want to pull the mouth through. And you can do this a little different way. I'm just kind of doing it the lazy way. And it should look about like that. Now for the horns, I've taken these off and replaced them for the last 3 days. So I left them on once I thought I was happy. I've had them back here. I've had them down low, everywhere I could think of. And I feel like the closer to the front of the head and far apart ended up being what I want. We'll see what happens when I sew them on this time. So I have pinned them. I've gone kind of at a 45-degree angle from the center, and I've gone 1, 2, 3 rows down. So I'm about in between row 3 and 4, and 3 and 4 on this side, and then just a little bit above the eyebrows. And they could even come. What I did when I was pinning them is I pinned the top one and then I kind of just spun them to see how I liked them. Now I forget where it was, but I guess I'm going to have to take it off. Just stuff it anyways. Okay. So you're going to want to put a little bit of stuffing in. not much, just enough to kind of keep it shaped as a triangle. Whoops. And then we got to pin that back on. So about a 45-degree angle. Whoopsie. On about the 3rd row down. And then decide where you want it sitting once you have it how you want it. About like that, kind of above the eyes and a bit forward on the forehead. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. Put a tiny bit of stuffing in. So you'll notice I have my hearts on already. I was all the way into the taking pictures phase for my thumbnail. And I just wasn't happy, so I had to redo it. I've actually re-videoed him twice too. So that's why he's taking so long to get out into the world. And you're just going to do the same thing, mirror what you did on the other side to about the 3rd row. And I'm sorry, my hands are kind of in the way here. And then get that nice and even. So I am down, way down into this row here with my pin. And have a really, really, really good look before you commit to where you have them, because it seems to make a big difference. I mean, they look okay right now. I'm up and over with the bottom of my horns. I'm in that 1, 2, 3rd row up here. And you're just going to sew them on. You're going to go down into that 3rd row across 1 bar in the row. And make sure when you're putting these on that you are going under the horn and not beside the horn too much, or you're going to see your stitches. And in most cases, you're not going to want that. Then you're just going to go up a stitch. And then down the next stitch, and I know it's a little hard to see because it's black. I don't want to pull that too far over because I think that's where I made a few of my mistakes before. And you're just going to continue that all the way around. up one stitch and down the next stitch, catching the little bar in the row. What could I get there? Darn stuffing. I just don't have to fix it after. When you, I think I'm going to just sew on the one and then sew the other one on off camera. But when you're doing the other one, make sure when you put your stitches down on this bottom row that they're in the exact same, going under the same row. And that will help you with the evenness. So just up and down all the way around. Have a look every once in a while. Make sure you're happy with what's happening. Because believe me, it is a lot easier to undo before you knot it at the end if you have to fix it. And I think that's our last stitch. We're all the way around now, but I might come up one more time just to make sure I got that first stitch locked down nice and tight. So it should look like that. And if you're happy with it, you're just going to put a little knot right close to the base of the horn. I have a little trick for this, but it's not working. There we go. So I pull half the knot and then I pull the other half of the knot. And then you're just going to take that down and come out the back somewhere, close to the top. Give it a bit of a pull so you hide that knot. And then we're going to do the other side. Or maybe I will just... So thread your other string. I'm going to try and get a little more in the photo here, in the frame here. So you're going to just do like you did before in your third row. Go down in that little bar. And then come up the next stitch. Down the next stitch and around your row, staying underneath of your horn. Kind of keeping an eye on your other horn, because this is where it all goes wrong. And I don't have a ton of pins in, so it could easily go bad for me. I think it's so far so good. When you get down to the front, remember to kind of check what row this last stitch, this bottom stitch is in. So it's in this row here, so I want to make sure when I go down I get a hold of that row at least the one time before I head back up and around in my other stitches. Okay, went up, so I got to go down the next one. Darn stuffing. I'm trying to get through both of those loops, but I keep grabbing the stuffing as well. There we go. So just a couple more stitches left. And then I'm going to come up one more time, even though I'm all the way around, just to bring that bottom where I put the knot in so it doesn't kind of stick up. Have a check before you finish. I think they're okay. I hope so. And then you're just going to tie your little knot at the top somewhere. For some reason the left one is going really good for me today. Usually it's the other way around. And then just bring that down and out in the same stitch, that same spot that your other one came out. Give that a tie. Tie that one. This was where we ended our mouth here. So let's get both of those out of our way. What I've done there. Okay. And we'll give those a cut. Okay, let's make his little face scrunched up now. He's starting to look like a, I shouldn't even say, but a ladybug instead of a devil. He might end up being a ladybug. This is how it happened. So, because I've finished him already, I do have a little bit of thread in here that I use to pull the eyes. I've tried to pull it as far apart as I can to show you how to do this next part, because I was scared to cut the wrong piece of string there and have his head open wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up just a little over from the center. And we're going to come up on one side. I think I'm going to come up under. Yeah, let's go under. Make sure you leave a little bit of string at the bottom. And you can go down and up a couple of times, or you can go over a couple of times. How do I want to do this? I think I'm going to go up and down, and then if I need to, I can come do the sideways ones after. So that is going to pull that down like that. But you need to mirror that now on the other side. So you're going to go around the one bar, one stitch, and then you're going to go up and down opposite of what you did previously. So you're going to come on the inside of the eye and then out the back, the center of the eye on the bottom, if that makes sense. You want to be going around a stitch, and see, I don't have a stitch there, so watch that. Maybe I will come up here. You want to make sure that you're at least getting in a stitch somewhere. Of course, you will have one. It's just because I've already pulled these over a bit. And then I'm going to go down back here. And then come out where you went up. Now I'm just showing you a quick little version of it. You can go up and down quite a few times if you want. And then I'm just gonna pull that till it's where I want it. Careful not to get the eyes too close. And it almost kind of gives them a bit of a bump for a nose too. The more times you go up and down, the more secure that will be. And then just thread that out the back somewhere. And let's see if he needs ears. I might have to shape his head a little bit since we pulled his chin up a touch. All right, so for his ears, where did I put those bigger ones? If you made the bigger ones, my suggestion would be to take, you'll have yours closed. I don't have mine closed yet. So where you did your last few stitches, close that up nice and tight. And then use that as your bottom. Somewhere around the bottom row of his eye and then put them on like this. Or if you can figure out how to make them look good, sideways like this. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you guys on your own for the two bigger ears. I know they probably look better, but I'm not seeing devil when I use them. I'm also not seeing devil at all anymore, so this was a request, and now I'm kind of worried that it's not even going to look like a devil anymore, because my vision is totally different than what's happening here. For the little ears, and I put a little note on them. Instead of doing the 2 chains down, I changed it to 3 chains down, and it gives them a bit more of a point. So hopefully you see that note. If not, they'll still look okay, but they might look a little better with that point. And thank you to my daughter for suggesting that. A little point on the ear. So I'm going to put them even with the arms, and I'm going to put the ear hole that we have even with where we put our eyes on. So right about there. Have a look. And I think that, oh yeah, that looks way better with a point. I just remade these ears, so I haven't actually pinned them on yet. And I am about 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches back from the eye. And you're just going to sew the bottom half of the eye on, or the ear. So I'm going to go around that bar where I have it pinned. See, right where we put the eye in. Excuse me. And then I'm going to go through the hole of the ear. Excuse me, I am so sorry. Doing so many of these, I think my voice is getting hoarse doing this. And then I'm going to go down one more row, just around that bar in the row. And I'm going to catch one of my first stitches. And then from here, decide if you want to put more on or you're good enough like that. It will be a little floppy if you leave it like this. So I might I think I'm going to just do that twice. So I'm going to go back in the same hole I was just in. And then I'm going to repeat the first one. I'm going to go up that next hole and through the hole I made when we made our loop. And then we're just going to tie that. I'm using my other tail. And then we're just going to hide that down in the back of his head somewhere. Make sure your strings aren't around his ear when you're pulling them in. And yeah, that looks way better than just a little circle. So thank you, Pumpkin. Now let's do the other ear. And this one, this is how how we went on the other side. This one you're going to have to flip like this, so you've got the point up on the top instead of the bottom. So I might actually put that tail through the back so it's in the back when I go to tie it. Okay, so now we got to match that up. So I'm going to stick my pin in the hole. I'm going to line up with the center of the eye where we put the eye in. And I'm going to come over 1, 2, 3, 4 and just plop that in there temporarily. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to be coming around this stitch right there. So I'm just going to pin it in there. Kind of check that you're centered with the arm. Centered this way. I think we're okay. So you're going to put that first stitch in. Excuse me. Like we did before. Lined up in that row. And get rid of our pin now. So through this, through the row, through the hole in the ear, and then down to the next row. Give that a pull. Go through one of the first stitches on the bottom of the ear, and make sure you left that tip, that pointy part, long pointy part at the top. And then just repeat that, going back up. And then give it a tie in the back. And then down and through and out where your other strings came out. Now, if you want, you can tug those in a bit. I think I'm actually going to. It brings his head in and gives him kind of cheeks. Well, I'm definitely glad I redid this because he's turning out better this time. So we're going to tie that once only. Make sure your strings are going the right way from his ears. Let's see if we can bring that in a bit. Let me tie it. There we go. I'm happy with that. So now you're going to do a good tie. And remember, this will relax a bit. Excuse me. Because we're not going straight across. You know, like we're not going straight across this way. We're coming out the back. And then you're just going to hide those ends. Down and out somewhere. If I can get them all in there at once. Maybe I can't. Alright, so now we need to put on the tail. don't have a very long tail on my tail because I've had to cut it out. So I might not be able to show you the whole part. But you're just going to come up a couple of rows from where he starts decreasing down to his bottom and is more flat. So I think I'm about, if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 rows, depending on how high you want his tail. And you're just going to go around a row and through your first single crochet that you made to close it up. And I'm going to do that twice. And then you're going to go around the next row, or the next stitch in the row. And then up and through that second single crochet you made to close it up. And then just one more time to reinforce it a bit. And you can leave it like this if you want, but if you've put the wire in, you're probably going to want to tack it up and down his back a bit. So all I did was I went in. I did. And then up a row. I'm going to lose my tail here. And then back through the tail in the center somewhere. And just do that a couple of times till you have it tacked on for whatever height you want it. And then you'll tie it off. I think I'm going to go one more time just to make sure that's nice and secure. So before we go, oh no, we still have the hearts, don't we? Before we do the hearts, I'll just do my little plug for my channel. If you like my videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And you will be notified every time I load a new video. You can also leave me a comment or hit the thumbs up button. I also have a Facebook craft page. If you want to leave me a photo of some of your work, there will be a link down in the description. You just have to hit see more and then scroll down and it will take you to my page. And you don't have to join or follow or nothing. You can just go straight to the post that's pinned on the top. It'll have like a little YouTube share photo. I can't get this through the thing. See, I made it too short. I'd love to see whatever you make as well. And I have a TikTok, which I really need to get on more. It's boring and there's hardly nothing there right now, but if you wanted to go join and follow me on there, you can do that as well. Sorry, I'm gonna have to come back with another piece of thread and make this more secure so it sticks how I want it, but for now, I'm just going to do that. You'll do a better job than me, obviously. Then if you put the wire in, you can just bend his tail however you want to make it look. And for the hearts, so I just pinned them on, lots of pins. I had about a pin in almost every stitch going around. And then when I did the black heart on his chest, before I sewed it on, I took the red and I just came up the bottom and then down kind of at the top of the heart and went around a couple of times and then did the same thing on the other side. So I'm sorry I can't show you that part. But you should basically be done and have your little Valentine devil. And if you want him to be not Valentine's, just leave the hearts off. I think he turned out okay in the end. So thanks for watching, and thank you, Jennifer, for requesting this little devil, because I don't think I would have thought of it. It's not exactly how I planned him to turn out when I first saw your comment, but I hope you are happy with the end result. Or you can take what I've done and make it your own. I hope you guys have a great day and happy crocheting.